Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void. And today for your Sunday, it's going to be a Sunday series between Time and Serral, a best of 5 from WCS Spring. Game number 1 is going to be on Year 0, the ladder edition, and in the top left-hand corner we have the red Terran player, it is Time. And in the top right-hand corner, his opponent for today, it's going to be Serral. Hailing from Finland, Time is Chinese, and yeah, this is from WCS Spring. Alright, so Time is an up-and-coming Terran player. I'm pretty sure he's the best player in China right now, at least as far as StarCraft 2 goes. And in case you couldn't tell, I am sick. I have a cold, my throat hurts a little bit to a lot depending on the time of day. My nose is running, but we will get through this because the people need their StarCraft. Alright, so I have a little weird ladder story for you guys. Alright, so I was playing a ladder game. Started out the Cannon Rush. Defeated that. Okay. And then the Protoss player did charge lot harassment. I nailed that as well. And then about 15 minutes into the game, my hotkeys switched on me. I swear. I have my Overlord hotkey at O, which I know is terrible. I need to change that one of these days. And then all of a sudden it was V. And all of a sudden spacebar didn't switch me between bases. It just took me to wherever the last thing that was announced was. I don't know what happened, but I soldiered on. I charged through. I had the game won. And then right as I had just defeated the Protoss army and was marching into their base, I got a disconnect. I all tapped out. Everything else was okay. Everything else was fine. And yeah, I got a disconnect and I was on the EU server. I have no idea what happened. If you know what happened, if you've heard that story before, if you've heard somebody have that happen before, tell me. So I don't feel like I'm a stroke victim here. I seriously don't know what happened to me. And it's freaking me out. I've been thinking about it all day. Anyway, Reaper's coming on over here. We don't have time for a Reaper name. We'll get on to that games 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, depending on how many we have. But the Reaper is going to be named Mr. Bojangles for now, because I don't have access to the list at the moment. Now, Mr. Bojangles is going to try to get some kills, but against who's probably the best Zerg player on planet Earth right now, it's not going to happen, man. You're not going to get any drone kills whatsoever. These Lings will defend their drone buddy while not losing any of their own. Queen's going to show up in about 4 seconds. And then you got to get on out. And maybe you chase down that one. Nope, you can't even chase down that one Zergling. Oh gosh, don't die. Don't die, Reaper, without any kills. That'd be like the worst shame of all time. Third base goes down just fine for Serral. Absolutely no problem. And he's safe. So now at this point, he's just droning up a whole ton because that's what you got to do here in a ZVT. And our Terran player is going to go for Hellion follow-up. No big deal. And I'm sure Serral's seen this a million times. He's got an incredible handle on it. For sure. These Lings are going to knock down these unbuildable rocks on this map. They're rocks, not plates. Sometimes they're plates, but I guess on the more geographical, like non-constructed, more organic areas, they're rocks. If that's what you're into here. But yeah, just going to defend it up. Serral looks like he's playing very much his standard, just macro style here. Spread and creep, defending whatever the Terran player can throw at him. Then finally pushing up and maybe sniping off a base or two or holding it all in and then winning that way. Liberator follow-up. The Hellions are coming in here too. Probably going to be a double-pronged harass with the Hellions at the front and the Liberator at the back, depending on what Time is feeling like right now. But Baneling Nest coming in. Going to go for a... If you see Baneling Nest this early, it usually means it's going to be Hydroling Bane. So we'll keep an eye on that if that's what Serral is into here. Sorry I don't have as much energy as I usually do, you guys. I am just feeling gross. But if I go too long without casting, then my buffer gets down to like 0, and then you people don't get your StarCraft, and I just feel horrible. I mean, obviously, if I had to go to the hospital or something was terribly wrong, sure, I wouldn't feel bad about missing days, but it's just a cold. Like, I can power through this. It's fine. I'm taking drugs. By drugs, I mean, like, ibuprofen and, like, NyQuil and Dayquil and stuff, and drinking a lot of water. And I should be fine in the next couple of days or so, no problem. Ling's going to cruise on in, maybe get some scouting off. Ling does, ooh, almost makes it through, but it does check the gas here, which is no gas whatsoever. So definitely more Hellion Marine heavy here. Not going to be a mech opening from Time whatsoever. That's a good scout. Hellion's cruising on in, and there are some drones transferring at the wrong time. They get down and out of there. Queens ready to rock. This is why you have 4 to 5 to 6 queens at the 5-minute mark, is for this very reason, to chase these Hellions away. There's another entry though. You got to march. It's a race. It's a race against time. The Hellions do get in. The Lings are ready to rock though. The drones pull prematurely. Well, I mean, not right on time, I would say. Before the Hellions get there, they pull out. They go back to work. Spreading some creep down this way too. The Hellions could drop back in and pick that up, but they decide not to instead. And where is our Liberator? There's our Liberator. Liberator, nope, here's our other Liberator. There we go. Third base. Doesn't get anything done, I don't think. One drone has been killed here. Ling's getting a surround on those Hellions, picking off a few of them. Man, there are still a lot of Hellions here, and Mr. Bojangles is still present too, interestingly enough. Oh gosh, this is an opening. The Queen's overextended a little bit. You can get in there, maybe at least kill some Lings, at least get some damage done with these dudes. And then force a retreat once again as the creep is out here. Liberator trying to show up inside the main base now. Spore Crawler repositioning itself multiple times to try to deal with this thing. The drones all pull into the hatchery that is upgrading to a lair. Shots, 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 and it's annoying to deal with, but ever since they buffed burrow time, would you say it's a buff if they reduced the amount of time it takes to burrow? Or is it a nerf because it's reducing something? This is a good question. This is a question for a philosopher that I am not, unfortunately. Alright, so Overseer cruises on in just to make sure he knows what he's looking at here. It's not going to be mech, it's definitely going to be a bio play here. Lots of barracks. Got a tank in there too, so not like pure Marine Marauder, definitely some tank support, but it doesn't really change what Serral is going for here. I mean, if it was a lot of tanks, sure, Hydroling Bang wouldn't do all that good. But we'll keep an eye on it. Yeah, that +1/+1 indicates we're going to go for Ultralisks at some level here too. And this might very well just be kind of our defend with Ling, Baneling, and Queen until we decide what we want to do for Tier 3. Which it really freaks me out when Zerg players do this, but I've seen it happen, and saves the Overseer. Oh my gosh, what a disgusting save that was. Serral, you are a god of Zerg. Fourth base coming down now, about 6.5 minutes, while Time is throwing down his third. He is macroing so hard. I wish I could have 52 workers in 4 bases in 6.5 minutes while being harassed by a Terran player as good as Time is. I am not, though. I mean, that seems like a good baseline to get, though. There's your Hydrolisk. It is going to be Hydroling Bane, as evinced by the Banelings. Not many people go Mutiling Baneling anymore. We've seen, who did that? Scarlet did that recently on an Africa World. By the way, if you're not watching those, you should totally watch those. It's Africa World. It's a 4-player tournament we hold every 2 weeks or so. It's put on by Africa. Laughing Games hosts it. I co-cast with them. And it's a good time. It really is. It's usually going to be on like a Friday or a Saturday night in America, or it's like morning time in Korea, so the EU fans don't really get much, unfortunately, much consideration. But we had Scarlet, we had Haz, and Keen, and Creator on the last one. It was great. This Ling harass is actually kind of amazing. Getting into the third base, also doing some damage in the natural base there. Tank and Marines cleaning that out, but a big old attack coming into the fourth base. We got 2 tanks, Marines, Hellions ready to rock here. Lings and Banes and Queens are going to be enough. Is it going to be enough? I don't know. He's morphing in some more Banelings. The Queens are fighting against these Marines, not doing super well here. They've got Stim, they've got Medivacs, and they're healing up here. Lings trying to get on top of these units, trying to take out the tanks at the very least, but they can't even do that, unfortunately. Holy cannoli, that was amazing stuff there. What great hold by Time. And I think Serral might actually end up losing this fourth base. He's coming in again. The tanks are firing. Oh, the Ling's coming around from the backside, though. Nice job on that surround. Both tanks are gone, and everybody has to pick up and get out of there. Serral, why would I doubt you? He does manage to save the fourth base. I mean, there's all of 400 hit points on that thing. So obviously he's doing all right. Fifth base now at 8.5 minutes. So every about 2 minutes, it seems he wants to throw down another base, which seems like some decent timing here. Marine at tank pushing on out across the map. Third base, well, Terran players do this. Okay, just wall off your third bases against Ling run-bys. Wall off your main bases against Ling run-bys. Good Zergs will do it against you and really pick up a lot of damage that way. At least force them to use Banelings to knock down that wall if they want to do it. You know what I mean? So 2-2 coming in for the Lings and the Banelings. Resources lost, fairly even, about 3,000 for each player. More and more Lings on the way. Time doesn't want to really come onto the creep, commit onto the creep, because this happens. Lings and Banes and Queens show up and ruin his day. Time's actually going home, which doesn't seem like a good idea. I kind of feel like he needs to continue to harass a little bit here. He's got a fourth base coming up, which is fantastic. He's trying to keep ahead of Serral economically, but Hydras on their way. Infestation Pit coming in now, too. We're going to see about a 10-minute hive from Serral, which is nothing too insane. Used to be, but I really think these players are getting better, and their timing's like a 10-minute hive is just normal stuff at this stage. Ling's trying to knock down these rocks, which Time did catch a glimpse of previously. You might want to set up a tank up here or some Marines just to dissuade these guys from doing this, but not doing it. Link's trying to see if a base is going to show up there. They'll deal with that one. And eventually they'll get through these rocks. Again, they have the +1, which helps immensely. +2 coming in. I'm not sure it'll be done by the time these rocks are down, but would have been useful regardless. Creep spread looking great. Banelings off creep. Bad engagement. There we go. Pull back. Pull back to the creep. Ling's cruising on into this 4th base while Time pushes on into Serral's 4th base. It is a 4th base Arama right now on both sides, opposite sides of the map. Forcing a cancel on Time's 4th base, but Serral's 4th base is better defended. There are 9 Banelings coming up over here. Ling's getting into the 3rd. And, oh, there we go. Getting into the natural base a little bit there, too. Marines trying to defend their 3rd base. 15 SCVs have gone down. I think Time needs to make something happen here, or he is just done. In game number 1, there are Lings wrecking his SCVs all over the place. Too many Hydras, too many Banelings. The tanks are spread, but there's only 2 of them. 2-2 finishing up here. Serral says, who needs upgrades? Let's go. He gets in there before his 2-2 even finishes up here. The Marines are trying to stutter step as best they can, and they do, but the tanks are dead. 38 SCVs have been killed. The infestation has been cleaned out, but there's just not enough right now. Army supply 86 to 69 in favor of the Zerg player. He's got 5 bases. He's happily mining with 80 workers to 39 SCVs. And sure, Terran players are not dead until they are dead. But this looks really dire. Really dire for Time. He's got 2-2, but guess what? So does the Zerg. And here we go. Is there enough room in those medevacs for everybody? No! Serral gets game 1. Gets the victory there against his Terran opponent. Nicely done. And yeah, a little bit more aggressive, I think, than maybe we expect to see from Serral. He has been mixing that in a little bit recently. Knocking down these rocks, gets into the 4th base and the 3rd base simultaneously, and attacks into the natural, so reinforcements are slower. I mean, that's disgusting. That is disgusting is what that is. And again, I think Time would have been served to make sure that he has some eyes on these rocks. He could have stopped this entirely just by setting up a single tank here, I think. And then that doesn't happen, and then maybe, I guess this is probably a Baneling bust, if I had to guess. Actually, let's look. We have the technology. Oh, did they come from the inside? Oh, they just must have wrapped around. Okay, so some of them ran up in there, some of them ran over here. So the wall didn't help all that much because there wasn't a wall there. Understood. Understood. All right, cool. Well, good game 1 there from these players. Again, Time, if he just kind of protected his backside, right? Kept his bases a little bit safer, he would have been in a better position here. He wouldn't have had to really engage here. He could have pulled back. It would have been like a 4 base to a 5 base Zerg and would have been fine overall. But all right, game 2 coming your way. Don't go anywhere. Game 2, Kairos Junction, Serral, Time, bottom right, Terran, top left, Zerg. Hey, check out the Falcon Paladin Hour. It's a weekly podcast with me and Somicron and sometimes special guests. Last week's was the special guest, Duddles. As in, who the hell is Duddles? And it's kind of weird he's known for that, but that's pretty much how he is known in the esports community. We talk about Game of Thrones, talk about John Wick, talk about StarCraft 2, and whether the battlecruiser is overpowered in certain matchups. Just search Falcon Paladin on your podcast app, and you will find it. All right, so no shenanigans out of Time, just building his barracks in his base. And Serral Silver Lord Scouting. Silver Lord Scouting, just to see if there are any proxy barracks out here. And I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this, you guys. I like drone scouting, but ooh, pull first here from Serral. All right, so you don't need to drone scout if you're going to go pull first here against Terran, because pull first holds off proxy barracks like you would not believe. All right. Hatch down and gas. Serral, you can't do much without gas here. I'm not sure what he's waiting for. What is this build? Pool, hatch. And then, like, I feel like he's almost AFK here. He's oversaturated on his main. He's going for a queen, and then he goes for a gas. So he's going to have slow lings, but he's not really going to have speed for some time. But he's going to be able to bring his lings across the map and try to delay this command center, as it takes some time to build. Reaper is on the way here. That Reaper's name is Agent J. Agent J was part of the secretive Men in Black organization, which secretly policed alien visitors to Earth. The Terran Dominion learned about the Men in Black and arrested them all, as working with aliens who aren't dead space gods is treason. All of the field agents who survived the torture interrogation were sent to the Reaper program, and Agent J is now stuck with a pair of guns so weak he wishes he had the Noisy Cricket back. Dude, the Noisy Cricket is great. Oh, you missed. You missed the lings. Oh, gosh, no. This is why you SCV scout, man. You gotta know these lings are coming. Reaper gets up and says, I've made a huge, tiny mistake. Super delay right now. There's a Marine up. He forces a cancel on the reactor, amazingly enough. Here to fight These Lings SCV so much lost mining time. They're keeping... Okay, we're keeping time alive here with this SCV pull. But my gosh. Oh, no, you're not going to finish this base. Not on my watch. Speed is on the way, but it's not even close to finishing there. And finally, the Lings do get cleaned up. But by golly, Reaper came all the way back home for that. Delayed the command center for quite some time. Haha, time. Time's base is just... It's not happy right now, is what I'm trying to say here. He's not a happy camper whatsoever. Hellion harassment is going to come out next of all, which Serral, again, is going to expect. He'll have speed done in time for that, and probably throwing down a third base here, too. Yeah, Queen tries to try to make sure the Reaper can't shut this down. Agent J, do you have any kills, Agent J? Not really. Man, he came up here, got shot in the face by a Queen a couple times, came all the way home, didn't actually show up in time to kill any of the Zerglings, and then I went all the way back to try to do some stuff and couldn't even delay the third base. So Agent J is not having a good time. He is not having a good time at all. Overlord on the high ground here, scouting stuff out. And again, nothing too crazy here at a time. Looks very much like the same thing he did in the last game here. Although medevac this time rather than a Liberator. Go for an armory. It could be a bit of a Hellbat push here. It's got the double gas, which indicates maybe we are going to get that armory out. Let's take a look at it. Roach Warren coming in at about, what are we at? 45 supply or so. Injects are on point as per usual. Overlord tries to scout in, see what's going on. There's only one Marine. Now there are two Marines. So the Overlord does get a pretty good scout. Sees the tech lab going down in the factory anyway. Sees the barracks building a tech lab here too. And says, alright, it's going to be a bio with tanks and upgrades for the Marines and the Marauders, and nothing too crazy for him at all. Are you supply blocked actually? My golly, time is supply blocked here. That hurts. That hurts immensely. Alright, so medevac is going to move out with the Hellions, but again, there are roaches not on the way. The Roach Warren is almost done. Roach Warren is done, and enough to make a few roaches if you want to. Medevac trying to sneak around here. Queen, yeah. Queen knows this is going to be the drop-off spot. Ling's ready to rock as well. Two Queens trying to fight it. And yeah, that's a shutdown. That is a shutdown, a drop attempt there for sure. Out of time. He's not pleased whatsoever. Queen's continuing to stab across that medevac as it retreats. And 10 roaches on the way. Is there a lair? We're going to see some Nidus play. I don't know. This many roaches makes me feel like Nidus play. But no, just regular old roaches. He's just going to walk across the map with Roach and Ravager. Seems like he's gonna. He seems like he's doing it right now. And coming onto the creep, the roaches, are they gonna go back home? No, there's enough Lings to shut that down. These Queens are coming as well. It is the slow march of the Queens. Incredible, incredible stuff right now. These Hellions are trying to get stuff done, but the Lings are keeping too close of an eye on them. They're not able to really make much happen here. There's a tank set up. Oh, Reaper! No, Agent J. Agent J goes down without really accomplishing much of anything in his time, unfortunately. Hellions getting on into the main base where there is a Queen and a bunch of Lings, and the drones trying to split and pull. And, oh, all but two of the Hellions get crushed there. Roach's Ravagers at the front door, causing problems for time. Oh, the tank does get picked off by Corrosive Bile. Nicely done on that one. Medevac does get picked off back home by the Queens, and that's going to be your GG. There is no way to handle this many Roaches and Ravagers without tank support here. SCVs are repairing that bunker for all that they're worth, and they're worth quite a bit because they are trained by the Dominion. Taking the high ground gets picked off. That bunker is immortal. Look at that bunker go, but GG. Serral takes game number 2 to go up 2-0 against his Terran opponent here. Incredible display of just harassment, and man, it all came down to the fact, I really want to say it came down to the fact that Time did not SCV scout. Time did not SCV scout and see the timing on the hatchery. Should have kept the Reaper at home, kept the command center alive, would not have thrown him off quite so bad. And he would have been able to know that there's an early pool, maybe prepared better for this Roach Queen Ling all-in. And yeah, just a few Ravagers, man. Not a crazy amount. Just take down those tanks, take down this other tank, and you have yourself a barbecue. All right, so good game there. Let's check out game 3 of this best of 5. I mean, Time, you got to win a couple of these, right? I don't know. Game 3, Port Alexander. Top left, Terran. Bottom right, Zerg. There's the music. Sometimes it takes a little bit to start, but it always shows up unless I have disabled it. Okay, so if you want to support me monetarily, you can do so at patreon.com/FalconPaladin. It will earn you 1 bonus StarCraft 2 cast a week and 1 bonus Brood War cast a week if you're interested in that. And there are different levels according to how much you pledge. You can get t-shirts, you can get me to cast your games, and the $5 a month level used to be a Q&A, but I don't know. I kind of feel like you guys don't have any more questions for me, so I'm trying to figure out what that's going to be. Kind of dabbled in the idea of stickers or buttons or something, or I don't know. If you have any ideas, let me know in the comments. Once again, pull first here out of Serral. Come on, time. SCV scout this. You know that's what you did wrong last game. This little guy right here is going to SCV scout if he is going to SCV scout. Whew, boy. Extractor pool. Speedlings. A little bit earlier than last game. Which means aggression, I feel like, a little bit earlier than last game as well. Barracks is complete. Gonna open up with a Reaper. Reaper's name is, in fact... Oh, where is this thing? Otorhinolaryngologist. Backstory, I just want to really hear Falcon Paladin struggle to say this word. Otorhinolaryngologist. Wow, I have no idea what that means. And I'm not going to say it again. We're going to call him Rhino from now on. So, Rhino. Somebody found like one of the longest words in all the dictionary and was like, what up, dude? Hey, we'll make Falcon say that one for a Reaper name. And I did a couple times and I didn't succeed, and that's all there is to it. Alright, so once again, did not SAV scout. Once again, Ling's coming over. Once again, the Reaper's got to try to figure out where these Lings are coming and stop them. And he's not. He's taking the northern route while the Lings are taking the southern route. Are we kidding right now? Are we just going to do this again? Alright, man, so the Reaper is going to show up and say, by golly, this hatch is not done. That means my SCV is in trouble back home, and he just turns right around. Look at them. He's like, ah! Deja vu. We're doing this again. Cruising on in. 4 Lings. This is not going to be safe at all. This SCV, at the very least, is going to have to pull off and run inside the main base. And in fact, he is. And I mean, sure, the Reaper gets here a little bit sooner this time, and there's a Marine to help. The Lings have got to go for it at this point. They really just got to go after this SCV, at least delay the base as much as they can. Maybe try to kill this Marine if possible. No, the control is too good. The Reaper's back home, and it's delay. Delay on the command center, but nothing too bad. And now the Reaper doesn't get any damage done either. So once again, Serral goes for the pool opening. It doesn't slow him down that much, obviously. And it's enough to really keep time on his back foot, which is exactly where Serral wants him to be. Once again, Hellion Harass. I kind of want to see time mix this up a little bit. I mean, I know that the Reaper opening into Hellion Harass is standard, and it is very good, but against somebody like Serral, where he's got his pool first, he's got his speed done already. Tell me he got speed. I didn't see it. Yes, alright, so speed is done. It's so dang hard to do anything here. 2 Queens coming on down to try to save the third base. The Reaper will take down the hatchery in about 400 years, but that's just not something that Serral wants to dig around with, to be honest. Calling down ye old mules. And is that an armory? No, it's a fusion core. Hey! Hey. Alright, so we talked about this on the podcast, remember? Our battle cruiser's OP here. Now, if it gets scouted... Oh my gosh, it's going to get scouted. Serral. Oh, did he poke in? He poked in and saw it and poked out before time recognized that he saw it. Now, guess what we're doing? Queens. We're doing queens. He's going up to a hive. Or a lair, rather. I guess I'll get to a hive eventually if he can. But yeah, that's definitely what's up here. Additional queens here. The way you deal with a battlecruiser rush is you engage it with 5 queens. That's it. 4 queens not enough, 3 queens not enough, 5 queens, and some of them should have transfuse energy, which is going to be the case because you can't inject all of that stuff onto these hatcheries. You could, but you shouldn't. It's just a waste of energy at this point. Just be on point with your other injections. Also, spores kind of useful. Not hugely, incredibly great, but, you know, not too bad either. And then if you get to Aspire and Corruptors, it's not bad either, but you can't get there before this thing pops. So Battle Cruiser on the way here at 4.5 minutes. Timing on the Fusion Core was pretty good. Great Wall of Supply Depots is up. Lings are trying to get something done here, but the Hellions are playing defense. They're playing base defense and roasting those Lings up. I love how the corpse just kind of slides across the ground there as it comes in. Yeah, I mean, at this point, just defend against the Hellions and prepare throwing up a Spore Crawler in each of his mineral lines to help deal with this, too. Yeah, just the 1 Spore. It's not like an insane number of Spore Crawlers. That's going to hurt your economy too much. Ooh, and the Nidus follow-up. I do love the Nidus follow. It's just right at the front door, too. Look at that. Look at that. Time doesn't know it exists, but if he comes into these Hellions at all, he'll see it. And he should be able to prepare for it here, but... Third base coming up, and there's the jump. There's the jump. Here are the queens pulling all of the drones. The drones, right? The drones are the target here. The queens are not the target. The battlecruiser will wreck your economy while you're killing it, if you're not careful. So the queens are fighting. Look, I'm telling you, 3 queens, maybe not enough necessarily. The damage output is so insane on this guy. Overlord, there is, throwing up the Nidus, but there are Marines and a tank here. Unload, transfuse, transfuse, transfuse. The transfuses are good, but all that's here are queens. The Lings are unloading, but that's a bad place to be, sir. Actually, battlecruiser getting some stuff done on the other side of the map here. The Lings were not enough. The reaction time by time was way too good. And the battlecruiser, happily with 5 kills. 4 drones have gone down here. The Nidus was absolutely shut down. This is some dead airspace back here. I kind of feel like Serral might want to go for a Spire. It's good in general, honestly. Like Ling, Baneling, Corruptor is really good. Ling and Blade Muta very good here too. Only 1 queen here in the main base. Battlecruiser doesn't want to engage too far in based on the threat of these queens. These Lings are utterly useless now. He was planning on flooding them into the main base, but instead there were Hellions and tanks there. And now they're just kind of running around trying to own map control, but other than that, I don't know what else they can accomplish. There are Marines and tanks protecting the front door. Another attempt at a Nidus is going to get shut down. Time is on the alert for that for sure. And I mean, it's 3 base to 3 base. Another battlecruiser jumps over to assist his buddy. And now do you have enough queens is the question. Because again, if you need 5 for 1, you need 10 for 2. Although one of them is really injured, so maybe that's not necessarily the case here. But regardless, that Spore Crawler is not going to last at all. It is target firing down the wounded battlecruiser, which I like. And he does jump back home once he has been 2 injured. But 3 more drones go down, 51 to 52, 2 base to 3 base. Well, this is kind of a good angle. There we go. 5 queens can hit him. Now that queen transfused a bunch of times. Beautiful, beautiful transfuses there. And the battlecruiser doesn't really do a whole lot. Only 2 drone kills, and that's about it. 3rd base being ended by time here, 7 minutes. The battlecruiser opening did not win it for him, but it did enough damage to where I think he's okay. Honestly, with his economy and his army and everything else, 4th base is done from Serral. We're on the way here from Serral, rather. Marine tank push here from time. And again, this mass Ling stuff, it's just not doing it for me as a Zerg player. Mass Lings, no. Lings with Banelings, sure. Lings with Hydralisks, sure. Lings with Mutalisks, sure. But Lings by themselves, just not that great, especially against Terran here. They do sneak into the 3rd base and kill a bunch of SCVs. The wall was coming up there, but again, not watching the front door. Serral just refusing to go where people expect him to go. And that's one of the reasons why he is the greatest, I mean, if not the greatest player in the world, definitely the greatest foreigner player on Earth, without question. Alright, here's this position. We've seen this position taken by Terrans time and time again. Yamato Cannon does try to take down that Spore. The Queens are fighting here too. Battlecruiser not doing a whole lot, really. But yeah, this is a favored place to set up if you happen to be a Terran player in a TVZ. Without question. Overseer does manage to escape with his life thanks to some transfuses there. So no gas income at the 3rd base, which is a problem for Serral's eventual plans of going for an infestation pit and maybe, I don't know, what are we thinking here? Possibly some Broodlords, possibly some Ultralisks. Ooh, Battlecruiser, 16 HP but not dead. Lings cruising on into the 3rd base. Battlecruiser defending, but can it kill Lings fast enough? And you know what? I think it's doing a pretty good job, but in the end, too many Zerglings, not enough bullets. Honestly. Tanks still holding that high ground. They can't hit the hatchery from here. That was very intentionally positioned by this map builder, or maybe when the ladder edition was created, that was ensured. They really want to make sure there are not places that Terran can sit with things like tanks and Thors and just wreck Zerg economies. It's not fair, right? Oh, Ling's going for a surround here. I don't know about this. Tank's definitely going to die. The stutter step is incredible right now. And everybody picks up and gets the heck on out of there. 4th base on the way from Serral, just about to pop. He is sitting at 59 workers to 49 for time. A bunch of drones have died. Is that 14? 14 is more than I expected. Just kind of here and there a little bit. Overseer picked off. Nicely done. The Marines trying to hold court here with the tanks surrounding. But the Ling's going for the surround on the high ground here. Can the Marines and the tanks hold up there? I don't know. Are there enough Marines to do it? The Ling's getting on top of the tanks. They're forced to go into unsieged mode to get picked up and retreated. But no, actually landing to defend. Nicely done. And time hangs on to that angle. hangs on to that position, which is just brutal here. I heard that jump sound. I know that jump sound very well now. I hate it when I hear it in games. But if you know how to deal with it, it is less scary for sure. Yamato cannon down the Spore. Marines attacking on into the third base while the fourth base is under attack here. This multi-pronged harass is working pretty good. The multi-pronged response, though, also fantastic. Out of Serral, battlecruiser down to Queens. As he jumped in here, he could not escape. And GG. Whoa! Serral taps out there. Drop inside the natural base was the final straw, I guess. I guess he couldn't dislodge these tanks with 11 and 17 kills from the third. There was a drop. Oh, at his fourth, he couldn't defend. And the drop in the natural, he could defend. But it was just too much. It was overwhelmingly too much here. 61 to 55 workers. Time had a 144 to 103 total supply lead right now. He was killing it on the macro. He was pumping 5 Marines at a time, getting combat shield, getting stim. And Serral was kind of haphazardly on 4 bases here, but not really. He didn't really have the worker count to saturate 4 bases, and his gas income was highly, highly problematic there too. And bam, that's the win. The win for time here. So, oh, I forgot to do this. Sorry about that, everybody. I was a little bit under the weather, as you can tell here. I think this is how this works. 2-1. All right. Excellent. So that is a 2-1. Can Serral wipe out time in the next game here? Overworld time, force a game 5. I don't know. Stick with me. We'll find out together in just a second. King's Cove, King's Cove. It's on King's Cove. Top left Zerg, bottom right Terran. Hey, we've got merchandise. I cannot talk about merchandise without talking about that one time this person came into our Discord and said, hey, you should sell merchandise. And I was like, hey, we do. And he said, hey, you should publicize it more. So, hey, Shopify, Falcon Paladin, just put it into your Google machine and you will find it. Hats, shirts, pillows. What else do we have in there? Jackets, hoodies, all sorts of great stuff. You want to support the channel, you want to show your love for Falcon Paladin, you can do it. It's a thing that we have. All right, Serral, you can go for that pool first play, man. Where are we at? You're going to hatch first here, actually, after going pool first the last 2 games. Maybe recognizing that time will expect the pool first and SCV scout unnecessarily the mind games. The mind games that we're experiencing right now, you guys, they are insane. All right, so barracks under completion here. That SCV is not going anywhere until the barracks is complete. We've got a Reaper name ready to go here, and I mean, it really helps to have a Reaper, even if it is a pool first, just because it helps immensely against the annoying Zerglings that will show up if it is a 12 pool or something. All right, barracks on the way. We've got a Reaper name ready to go here too. And Reaper's name is Karate Masterson. I don't think there's actually a name for that, but it's just Karate Masterson. I don't know what that's from. You know what? We've got a little bit of time here. Let's check this thing out. Is he SCV scouting? He is SCV scouting. Good man. Karate Masterson. Is that a thing? Yeah, SCV is looking to see here. Not as far as I can tell. It doesn't look like it is a pop culture reference, but whatevs. We'll roll with it. And here comes the SCV. It's going to say, the hatchery is done. My Reaper can come in here after all and maybe get some work done here. Although there are clearly lings on the way, but the queens are going to be some time coming. My window to get Zergling kills is complete. I can leave my SCV home to build his command center in peace. And all will be well. Factory coming up from time. Going to go for those Hellions, which are all the rage. Even when Hellions winning battlecruiser rushed, which is pretty awesome. But Reaper coming on in. Gonna play the dance. Karate Masterson gonna make this thing happen. Any lings gonna go down to your double pistols is the question of the day here. And the answer is nope. The queens are out. You're done. Oh, we got the one just at the last second. I questioned and I doubted Karate Masterson and he got a ling kill. Nice job, buddy. Maybe another one there if he target fires it. Oh, he wanted the creep tumor instead though and didn't get it. No, he did get the other ling though, just on the last second. Nicely done. Fantastic play there from our buddy. Starport coming in, so the 1-1-1 build with the expansion mixed in there too. Hellion production has begun. We're going for a Marine to deal with potential scouting overlord, which is going to start coming in here anytime soon. Reaper denying the third base quite some time here. I love how this drone is just tagging along with the queen. So wherever the no, it doesn't go down. Actually, have to force itself into an extractor to stay alive. Jeez. This Reaper is not bad. He delayed the third and killed 2 Lings. So, I mean, he gets like an A+ rating from me, honestly. I'm not sure that he's S-class, but definitely A in there somewhere along those lines. Overlord does make it to the high ground safely, and some maps don't have high ground where you can scout from, but others do. It's very confusing because some of it looks like high ground, but it's not. Gotta learn that stuff. Oh, time. Time is going for a fusion core. All right, so the man is going for battle cruisers again. Hey, he says it worked in the last game. It wasn't why I won necessarily, but it was something I did that resulted in a victory against Serral. So hey, let's make sure I go down swinging if I'm going to go down here, right? In 3 games, well, in 4 games to Serral. So the Overlord doesn't scout it this time around. Serral does not know that it's coming, unlike the last game where he did, and he lost to it anyway, which is kind of incredible stuff, honestly, if you think about it. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing about StarCraft. Sometimes you scout it and you still die to it. Sometimes it's all about response and how well they execute and whatnot. So good times had by all. Baneling Nest on the way here from Serral. Creep spreading, lair on the way. Do we see extra queens being built? Yeah, but yeah, he's got a bunch. He's got 3, 4, and he has a total of 5 now. He's making another one to add to the mix. So he should have a good number of queens regardless. I mean, it's just kind of standard to have a bunch of queens anyway, especially against Hellions. It just works. The queens are good against Hellions, and they're fine against battlecruisers who may wander their way across the map here too. So queen, your all-purpose Zerg unit that some people think should be nerfed, but I think they're in a pretty decent spot, honestly. If they're not this good, there's a lot of early air stuff that can kill Zerg really easily. Liberators, Oracles, battle cruisers, obviously. I mean, if the queens were nerfed, I think we'd see a lot of Zerg die. That is just my professional opinion as a Zerg main. Hellions cruising on in and picking off some creep tumors here with the friendly help of Karate Masterson. Queens are blocking that ramp. Just get on out. 1 Hellion gets picked off in the distance. Battle cruiser is done and jumping. There it is. And there we go. So this queen is going to die. There's really no saving her at all. Actually, hang on. Go back and kill it. Oh, the queens ended up saving their buddy. Dang it, Serral. How are you so good? How did you keep that queen alive? Ooh, he's a little bit trapped in here too now. Transfuse is pretty consistent. A couple drones have gone down. Hellions roasting up some drones and some Lings here at the 3rd base, like attacking both directions at once. Pretty good control here at a time. Overlord gonna go down unless it, again, comes back here and gets transfused, which it does. By golly. Serral, he's just so good with the little units. Once again, another unit survives with like no HP. I'm trying to kill... Wow, those Hellions are killing creep tumors on the high ground. That is some pretty aggressive stuff there. Who says they can't shoot up? That basically counts as shooting up, doesn't it? I want to say it does. Queen's actually engaging off creep here to deal with this dude. Creep getting spread, actually, so we can deal with this dude. I mean, geez, Serral is just on top of his game right now. Without question. Ling's cruising around, trying to see if there's anything else coming up, and there's really not. I mean, it's just time is going for a 3rd base behind this, so he's got the pressure up and is expanding, which is nice. Army supply is bigger for time, but a lot of this is Hellions, which aren't going to be all that much use against the queens and whatnot. It's going to be, again, +1/+1 for the melee units for Serral here, which indicates Ultralisks, Banelings, all sorts of other good stuff here. Hydroling Bane possibly in the mid-game. Especially Hydra if he recognizes that battle cruisers are something of a threat. Corruptor Ling Bane also pretty fantastic if your opponent is going battle cruiser, as Corruptors are one of the best answers for this unit in the game. Temp is also very good. So Hellions trying to cruise around, find more stuff to do. 4th base coming up from Serral, about 7.5 minutes. And the Lings going for a run by. They could also go for a wraparound surround if they recognize what's up. Jumping battle cruiser at the natural base. And this queen gonna get saved by her buddy again here. Any transfuses available? Queen finally dies. Holy crap, an actual queen death to this battle cruiser, but he's gonna die to everybody else in payment. The 4th base gonna get sniped down, but the Lings get into the 3rd. That's not a wall quite yet time. Oh gosh, he was working on the Great Wall. 4th base is down, but his 3rd base is in shambles as well. Battle cruiser gets killed. Tank on the high ground is gonna go ahead and shove this away to some extent. And Lings and Banelings and Queens will deal with the rest of this attack up at the front here. Tanks are down. And the final tank gets surrounded and murdered there as well. 3rd base needs to be lifted. The Marine count isn't enough. There's the lift. And Supply Depot is getting rocked here too. Time is not supply block just because he's lost so much stuff, but he effectively traded a base and lost some SCVs there. Serral is up 66 to 52, but he wants to be on 4 bases is what he wants right now. Additional spores coming up to deal with potential battlecruiser harass to follow, but it seems like we're done with that for now. No more RN production. Tank killing a changeling there, calling down some mules here at the 3rd base too. More changelings trying to wander on in right now, and time is he's stabilized. His army supply is not very good. His worker count's not very good, but he's got mules to help with that. He's got mules to recover here. Did I tell you about the game I played? I didn't, but I just played a recent game where I Baneling busted a Terran, took him down to 2 SCVs, and he still came back and made a game of it. It was insane. I don't know how. I honestly don't know how. Maybe he just hadn't been spending his money. He had a huge bank to use, but anyway, Zergling trying to get us around on these Marines so the Banelings can crush on in there, but nice pick up and retreat and save there out of time. Creep spreading like a boss. That's what Serral is all about. Overseer scouts on in to see what we're dealing with, and it's definitely bio with some tank support based on the number of barracks that we see here. +2/+2 now on the way, and yeah, I mean, time is just in a lot of trouble. He did take down that base from Serral, but he continues to be further and further behind in total army size as well as worker. His income is not super healthy, especially considering that he has the mules here. And the Overseer just kind of chilling. Lings. Yeah, I mean, every time the time tries to progress here, tries to push back some creep, it's just too much. It is just too much Zerg. Trying to attack up this left side, and again, he's going to kill like 2 or 3 creep tumors, but how many are there, Falcon? Well, a lot. Actually, 73. There are 73 tumors out here right now. Marines are going to make something happen, but the Lings and the Mains and the Hydras are just too much. Everybody heading back home, and yeah, Serral is just, he's on his way to getting maxed out. He's got infestors coming in. He's on a 5 base economy right now, which is just, once a Zerg's on 5 bases, it's pretty much over. Unless you can just meet them just unit for unit here. Drilling Claws on the way and going for, is he actually making Widow Mines? I should see that. No. So he's going for the Drilling Claws upgrade, but he doesn't have any Widow Mines, nor is he producing any. So I don't know. Baneling target fire was pretty good. There you go. That's your target fire action right there. Liking it a lot. Creep continuing to spread post haste. Finally a Widow Mine in production and a Ghost Academy. So I don't know. If time can get Widow Mines out, get some ghosts in there for steady targeting, he's got the tools. He will have the tools in a couple minutes here to do what he needs to do. The question is, how much longer does this game go on? Because Serral's maxed out, and I don't know about you, but when I'm maxed out, that is a red warning flag to me that it's time to attack. Maybe a notification tag, I suppose, notification flag that I need to attack here. He's got his 4th base up and running. It is a planetary fortress. There's renal glands, ultralisks. It's just, you're going to have enough liberators and ghosts to handle these ultras is the question of the day. Plus all the Lings and the Banelings. Serral's got multiple positions he's hanging out in. Once again, these little creep clearing squads are good. They're doing some awesome work here, but they just can't stem the tide fast enough. Time is definitely playing from behind right now. He's going for a personal cloaking for ghosts, which is going to help. Making 4 ghosts at a time, which is going to help. So I'm really liking what we're seeing here. He's doing all the right things. It's just that Serral's working on a 6th base, and he's working on a Nidus network, and he's got Ultralisks on the way, and it's all the upgrades in the world, and it's just a lot right now, is all it is. 3-3 is coming in for time, so the timing on that is pretty fantastic. That's going to make his Marines and Marauders pretty darn good. Small group of Lingbane Hydra are going to try to attack onto this 5th that time has set up before the Planetary Fortress upgrades. And, yeah, Widowmine burrows but dies before he can get any shots off at all. Blinding Cloud actually going down on the Marines. And too many Hydras and Banelings crushing on in right now. That Planetary Fortress is getting focused down by Hydras quite nicely. Before it finishes the upgrade, it is done. 5th base complete. Serral retreats with his units. There's no reason to stick around much longer. And the Vikings are trying to kill the Vipers here. Parasitic Bomb kind of makes them pull back a little bit. I'd imagine so. Abducting a ghost. You don't see that every day. That's an abduct of a ghost. And a Viking into a Hydralisk group. Fantastic. Group B. Sneaking down the right side. He's going to go for the double-pronged attacks right now. Sure seems like that's what he's into. It certainly does. Once again, Marines do pick off a Viper. Not bad. Transfuse saving the other one. Serral's transfuses have been just incredibly on point today. I mean, they always are, but they feel like they're especially just really where he needs them to be at every point. Going for Anabolic Synthesis, which is upgrading the Ultralisk speed off creep, making them better off creep, although based on the creep spread on the map right now, it's not very far they have to go off creep before things go bad here. Widowmine's fire, but again, 5th base going to get denied here. And a Nidus, 2 Nidus Worms coming up back inside the natural. A lot of Zergs have been like, they're easier to kill now. The Nidus Worms, we'll just make 2 of them, so it's much more difficult for them to handle. So here we go, Ling, Bane, Hydra, Liberators setting up shop. There's just so much Zerg here. Fusion Core might be an interesting target, but not really a priority one right now. And you know what? The Liberators are hanging on to it right now. Not doing too bad. And Serral's just basically able to bring as many units here as he wants. Going for a refinery, which has about 100 gas in it, so that's not as big of a deal as we would think so. Trying to take down the Ghost Academy here. Attacking in with a small group of Hydras and Vipers. Abducting those tanks, very nicely done. Ghost, once again, a huge play here, but Banelings getting on top of them. Production facilities taking some serious hits. So some damage will be done here, but Time will be able to clean it up just because of the positioning of the Liberators. And they did bring enough units back here to help with that. Yeah, the Hydras are going to go down. They're going to take a lot of stuff with them, guys. 6 kills on that Hydralisk. That is not too shabby for it as well. So, Time is trying to take this 5th base, which eventually he'll get there, I guess. Where the heck is that other Nidus? I heard you, Nidus. Where are you? Structures, Nidus. We've got 2 Nidus Canals and 2 Nidus Worms. Oh, and they're just over here on the left. Fair enough. A lot of Banelings coming up over here, too. 2 Nidus Canals. What on earth? How does that work? Do they connect? I guess it's just ingestion points, right? 2 places you can ingest your units, but they're both right next to each other, so I don't know what the point is. Honestly, unless it means you can ingest twice as fast, but it's pretty fast regardless. See how fast those Lings just hopped in there? It's pretty darn much instantaneous. I really don't have a complaint about it. Ling Bane's attacking right up the front door, just right into the maw here of Time's forces, trying to go ahead and kite back as best he can versus these Banelings, but getting delicious hits there. Vikings getting picked out of the sky. The Ghosts are still alive, and that's what really matters here. Steady targeting on the Hydralisks to try to clean them up. Regular attack doing pretty well too. That bonus damage versus light the Ghosts have is pretty fantastic versus those Hydras that are light units. And eventually the attack does get cleaned up, but not before 19 SCVs go down. And once again, it's just 159 to 130 supply. Time has the correct composition here. He just doesn't have enough stuff. Oh, he's got Nidus Worms on both sides. This is kind of interesting. So we can just kind of wing back and forth different places where Time is not ready for him. Ling's cruising into that natural where there's a Ghost Academy, but there's not really much else to kill, so he retreats back, pops down on the left side instead. He's just got Time. He's got his head on a swivel right now. Widowmine Planetary Fortress pretty good against Zerglings, but guess what? Banelings are here. And the Banelings finish off the Planetary Fortress. And they're trying to get the Ghosts too. Can't quite do it. The Ghosts are holding right now. As good as they can. And as well as they can. 2 more Nidus Worms coming up while attacking the front door comes up. Time is just being absolutely harassed and smothered to death here with these multi-pronged attacks coming from everywhere at once. And there's the unload. That's what I'm talking about. 2 Nidus Worms. Sure, you might be able to kill 1, but you're not getting the other one. Additional Nidus. Serral is playing with his food right now, you guys. He really is. I don't know how else to explain this to you, but I mean, it's not over yet, right? But this many Nidus Worms inside the Terran main just indicates, you are not, you're not going to be able to stop me here at all. Ultralisks, Lings show up. The Liberators, again, kind of a big deal. Can the Hydras hit them from where they are is the question. They're trying to get them. 1 goes down. And the other one getting target fired here too. The Ultra staying out of the range of the Liberators anyway. Tanks popping in. Ghosts getting shots off as there's actually no Zerg detection here at all. But that's it. You're a good game. Too much Zerg, not enough Terran. Time taps out and Serral gets the win. 3 games to 1 today in your best of 5. Resources lost. Actually, more lost for Serral. 27,000 compared to Time's here, but Time had more stuff to lose, or rather, Serral had more stuff to lose, right? He just had the bigger army supply. He had the more workers. He had the more bases. His Zerglings are effectively free. 324 of those went down. 1 Ultralisk died. That's about it. 6 Nidus Worms, 3 Queens, 32 Hydralisks, and 82 Banelings. How many Marines? 132 Marines, 11 Ghosts, a Battle Cruiser, a Planetary Fortress, Ghost Academy, Fusion Core, Command Center, and some Vikings with 18 Widowmines. 18 Widowmines went down. I didn't realize the time we'd made many of those, but I guess if you're going for the Drilling Claws upgrade, it would make sense to have that upgrade, or have that number of Widowmines anyway. But all right, I'm going to tap out. My voice is going on me. I'm sure you can tell here, but it's going to be it from me. So this has been Falcon Paladin coming at you with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void and your Sunday series. Best of 5 between Serral and Time. Go ahead and hit that like button. Hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitch, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.